Welcome to 5% Radio, where it's all about learning like no one else today so you can live like no one else tomorrow. Please be sure to share and subscribe. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the 5% Radio podcast. Today in episode number 67, I want to talk to you about putting all the odds in your favor. So we're in a season right now where I've been absolutely just working my head off early in the morning, late in the evening. I've had plenty of days where I've worked after midnight, and I've had plenty of days where I am in my office before 6:15 in the morning. So it's just been kind of a crazy season. And one of the things that I recently did was I created an entire course that teaches our ideal clients, kind of our dream people that we want to work with in our agency. I created an entire course to teach them how to do about 95% of everything that it takes to do what we do for them, which is run Facebook lead generation ads. And that was probably about, I would say maybe 200 hours of work between the documents that I put together, all of the templates that I made for them, just everything plug and play, and then actually recording the course itself, planning it, making the slides, all that kind of stuff, all of the swipe files, like everything, 200 plus hours. And I gave it away completely for free on the hope that those people would actually hire us to do that exact thing for them, because there was proof that we had authority in it. We knew exactly what we were doing. We knew how to do it. There's a difference between doing something and teaching it, but if you can teach something pretty well, that usually means that you can do it. Not all the time, but generally speaking, if you can teach something with a level of expertise, it means that you are obviously well enough versed in that thing that you can do it for yourself and you have proven results in that area. So that being said, we did that. And then on top of that, I started offering free trials to our ideal clients that we want to work with, because we're looking to beef up the number of case studies and social proof that we have, which is basically just telling people like, hey, here's this person, we achieved this result in this number of days and they made this much money. Here's this person, they achieved this result in this number of days and made this much money. Here's this person, and just over and over and over again. And so I've been putting in a ton of work basically for free. We had another client come to us and he's like, you know what, I want to work with you guys, but I don't have the upfront cash right now. And I'm like, okay, so, we have a couple different options. And he presented me with, okay, I have an agency that offered us this, an agency that offered us this. And at this point, I'm just giving consulting, because I'm not going to tell him, hey, look, they all suck. Like, an agency is an agency is an agency. There's good ones and there's bad ones. But generally speaking, I would say probably like 75% of all agencies across the board are doing a lot of the same stuff. So it's really just how much do you want to pay for, and they might have a 10% tweak here and there. Some of them do have crazy stuff that's going on with the AI right now and things like that, but I'm just kind of giving you guys an update on where I'm at. So him and I had a conversation, and he's like, hey, look, I would like to work with you, but I got offered a pay for appointment only deal, meaning when someone walks through my door, I pay for that. Or I got offered a deal where, basically there's a rev share deal, meaning that whatever's collected, top line. So if you collect 40K, I get a set percentage of that, whether it's top line, profit, overall collected, or a blend of those two. And I'm like, okay, so we can do a pay-per-close, which I did not want to do, but I'm like, you know what? We can do it. I'm confident that we can generate the leads. And as long as they show up at the door, then, we can take care of it. But it just reminded me again, putting all the odds in your favor, doing whatever it takes, just another lesson in persistence that I've learned from life. Now, I'm 30 years old. I have been self-employed now for about 3.5 years. I've been self-employed multiple times, but this last time that I completely went out on my own and have done nothing but, agency work since, as far as for like my primary income. And it was just another reminder that like sometimes you have just simply not done enough to make it to the level you want to make it to. And one of the questions that Alex Hormozi has asked several times that I've heard him talk about this issue is where you're at right now, is it reasonable? Can you actually say it's reasonable based on the amount of work that I've done, the effort that I've put in, the energy that I've expended, and the time that I've taken to get good at this thing? Is it reasonable to assume that you would have succeeded? Because if it's not, in other words, if I have not deposited enough into the sacrifice or paid my dues account, so to speak, it's not really reasonable to make one of two decisions. Number one, to quit, or number two, to get frustrated and saying, I can't believe that I haven't achieved XYZ outcome after, this amount of time that I've put in. So it was just another reminder to me that, okay, the place that I want to get to, my number one goal right now for the next, I would say, it's going to be by mid-June of 2025. So my number one goal over the next roughly, 10 months is to get to 10K MRR. So 10K monthly recurring revenue in profit. So that means that employees are paid, that means softwares are paid, that means all expenditures are paid, and I have $10,000 per month left over. So that is the goal, the constraint of the goal, and I'll do another episode on this in the future. The constraint of that goal is I only want to work 10 hours a week to get that done. So my team will work more than 10 hours a week, but I want to have $10,000 monthly recurring revenue coming in as 100% profit take home. And I want to do that working no more than 10 hours a week. So to get there, I'm going to have to pay what seems like an unreasonable price to get to where I can have a lifestyle that is $10K per month profit, working no more than 10 hours a week. Now, is $10K per month take home a massive salary, so to speak, or a massive income? No, not really. I know people that make, 10 grand a day. I know people that make, $1,500 a day and they work an hour a day. So there's all these different things. I know people that make significantly more than that are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. But at the end of the day, the goal with the constraint is what matters to me most right now. So putting all the odds in your favor, I was reminded of this and inspired to do this episode. And I'm not going to be long today because of a sales meeting that I had probably about 3 weeks ago. So, and one of the things, by the way, guys, I have not meant to be absent. I normally publish an episode a week. Things have been absolutely nuts, and there were several times that I was extremely tempted to just record an episode in the car, which is what I did on my very first show. All the episodes were in the car because you know what? It was a place that I consistently spent a ton of time in, and it was easy to go ahead and crank those episodes out with very little editing. But I have done a very high production show with a nice microphone and everything else, and I've made sure that the editing is good and that everything sounds nice. So I don't want to go from that to like, what the heck is going on? I can hear his turn signals and can hear people, honking at him because he might drive aggressively sometimes and all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to go ahead and keep this in the podcast studio setting where I've always had it. So that's one of the reasons that I've been a little bit absent is I have not actually had time to sit down and do this between recording the course, client fulfillment, sales calls, all that stuff. Things have been crazy. And right now I've got to do everything that moves me towards the goal of 10K a month profit take home with the constraint of 10 hours a week by June 2025. So anyway, one of the things that I was reminded of, though, as I was doing this sales meeting about 3 weeks ago is, you want to make sure that all the odds are in your favor. When I say that, I mean, I want to make sure that everything possible on my end of the scale, so to speak. So if you could picture a scale, like a regular, like the old-fashioned scales, where one side was loaded with the weight, and then you loaded the other side, and then it determined, okay, you bought this much, this many pounds, this many ounces, this many grams, so you owe this much money. If there was a scale of success, so to speak, I want to make sure that I stack every single possible ounce, every gram, every single pound, every single thing that I can. I want to stack on the side of the scale that I control. I don't control what I have to lift. I don't know how much that is. I don't know exactly what I have to put in to get my ideal outcome out of the situation. I don't know how many sales calls I'm going to have to hop on with clients to get to $10,000 a month profit. I don't know how many team members I'm going to have to hire, train, and then have to get rid of because they're not the right fit. I don't know how many people's ad accounts we're going to have to absolutely crush it for before we can demand a specific price point that allows me to need less clients and make more money than ever before working less hours. I don't know exactly what that is. Do I know my numbers? Yes, I absolutely do. Do I know my average close ratios? For sure, but I can't control how long someone's going to stay or any of those other things. So what I can do is put all of the odds in my favor over time. Now, this starts with little things. So if you're looking to achieve a specific goal, when I talk about putting the odds in your favor, if we're just talking about business, in this episode, it's going to be hyper-specific to business. One of the odds that you want to put in your favor, and some of this is going to be like, well, this is ridiculous, but I've listened to people teaching sales teams this, and they literally went down to such a granular level that they're like, hey, brush your teeth, put a mint in, get a haircut, dress well, speak well, smile, shake the person's hand if possible. If it's virtual, be extra friendly, be overly expressive, like all these little things. And I did the sales meeting with a guy the other day, and he's telling me how he wants to get financially free and all this different stuff. And he did not look like he had taken care of his teeth. And this, I'm not saying that to be harsh, but I mean like just basic stuff, brushing, flossing, that kind of stuff. Didn't look like he had done that. His hair, he didn't look like he had done that. And I mean, literally done, like didn't look like it had been combed, hadn't been styled, wasn't cut professionally, was shaggy, was all over the place. And you're like, well, this guy's passing judgment. Look, if you want to be a professional, if you want to be the type of person that demands 6 figures or 7 figures, if you want to make $250,000 a year, if you want to make any of that, like you're not going to do that looking like a bum. And you're like, well, there's all these different people that, yeah, Yeah, if you're worth $400 million, you can be eccentric and do whatever you want now. What about Steve Jobs? He went days without showering, and he was, malodorous, and people are around him when he was first on. Like, that's Steve Jobs. Like, if you want to be the exception, be my guest. I'm looking for the rule, meaning, what do the vast majority of people do? If I went to a place to buy a car, I'm going to have a certain expectation of how that guy is going to be dressed, and we make snap judgments. We make snap decisions, regardless of how many people want to say don't judge a book by its cover, and I agree that's not something that you necessarily want to do. But guess what? Everyone does it, even if you're not trying to. Like, in the first couple seconds of meeting someone, based on their posture, their handshake, their eye contact, their smile, their lack of a smile, the tone of their voice, like everything. Is there warmth? Are they cold? Are they personable? Are they not? Are they rude? Like, are they professional? Are they a goofball? Like, all of that stuff, you make a snap judgment. And it's just like meeting a girl's or a guy's parents for the first time when you're dating in high school. Like, you want to do everything you can to make a good first impression, because guess what? If you leave that first impression and they don't like you, you are going to have to work your butt off to get that change. And in business, it is the same exact thing. When you show up to sell something, if you're in sales, which, by the way, if you're in business of any kind, you are in sales. Well, no, I run a Jesse, I run a lawn care business. We're not really in sales. We're in cutting lawns. You are in sales first and foremost. Well, no, you don't understand. I run a marketing agency, and we do really good SEO. Guess what? You're in sales. You don't understand. No. I'm not in sales. I'm a manager where I work. Guess what? You're in sales. You sell the customers on not being angry at the things your employees screwed up. You sell your employees on coming in on the weekend when you don't want to work. You sell your boss on a promotion. Well, no. I'm not a management. I don't have my own business. None of that stuff. See, I'm a teacher, and I'm just looking to get better. Guess what? You are in sales, getting your students to listen to you, getting a raise, getting the next promotion, getting the next job. You are in sales no matter what you do, where you are, or like it doesn't matter. You are in sales, and you need to be professional. So going back to the sales meeting, I'm sitting there looking at this guy, and I'm thinking, man, this guy's sharp. He's nice. He's saying a lot of the right stuff, but if I was the person on the receiving end of him trying to sell me, I would not be buying, just because if there were two people offering the exact same thing and one came in clean cut, clean shaven, or with a very professional looking, his beard is all edged up, like he looks good, his neck's not shaggy, his teeth look good, like all that stuff. Man, I'm buying from the guy who looks better, period. If they're both equally nice, equally professional, they're selling the same service at the same price, and they're both equally warm, like I like both guys the same, guess who I'm buying from? I'm not going to buy from the guy who looks disheveled like he just woke up. I don't know if he brushed his teeth that day. His teeth are yellowed because he's been smoking for 12 years. I'm not telling you can't smoke, but like, do something to make, like, you got to look good. If you're in business and you want people to buy from you, and you're like, well, yeah, but my mechanic, he's a mechanic. Guess what? He fits the bill. He looks like a mechanic should look. If you came to me for me to work on your car and I'm like, perfectly clean nails, no scars on my hands, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've been doing this for a decade, you'd be like, this guy is a fraud. Like, he doesn't know anything he's talking about, because mechanics have a certain look. Guess what? Farmers have a certain look. Doctors have a certain look. Would you go to a weight loss doctor who's 400 pounds? If you would, we need to have a different conversation. Like, that person obviously doesn't know anything about losing weight. They can tell you all day long, but they don't know about it. I used to go to Men's Warehouse to buy my suits when I first started buying suits. Now, the next suit that I buy, I'm planning on getting it fully custom from an online website. I've heard that you could do, measurements from your wrist to your upper arm measurements to like your shoulders, chest, legs, inseam, everything. And they send you a suit that is like, fits you perfectly, like it was tailor-made for you, because it was. And it's Italian cloth and all this other stuff. But when I used to buy all my suits from Men's Warehouse, which I might buy one more from there, and then I'm going to buy like Italian cloth and all this bougie stuff, because I love clothes. I'll set goals for it and all that good stuff. I'm not just going to go out and buy it because I have the money. But when I used to do that, I would go to the guy in the store who always looked phenomenal. His name was David. I can see his face right now. Super nice guy. And I would go to him and I would always ask him, hey, look, I'm looking to buy this. And I would like, what should I wear this with? And he would give me advice. And guess what? His thing was that he loved learning about suits and ties and collars. Should it be a pointed collar or a rounded collar? And like, should it be cufflinks or a regular shirt? And should it have a subtle pattern on it? Should it not? What would go well with this tie? Okay, so you're looking for this specific thing. Okay, so you're probably going to want this sized collar. You don't want to get this. You want to make sure that your tie at this spot in the tie is the exact same size as the collar in this spot of the collar on this section of the suit. Like, he knew all this stuff. And I'm like, man, this guy is great. And I still for years, even after I quit going there, or he quit working there, one of the two, I don't remember what happened first. I would go to him because guess what? David knew his stuff. He was my guy. I go to him about stuff all the time. Hey, where do you buy high quality ties for cheap, man? Oh, you go to this website, thetyeknot.com, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, awesome. Thanks, man. He was my guy because he knew what he was talking about. I was buying a suit one time. I was buying a pair of slacks. They were khaki slacks. And I asked the guy, hey, can you tell me about XYZ? And he starts telling me about, there's this bead that we can put in the pants and it's permanent. Make sure the crease is always there. Oh, you got to have it. You can't buy a pair of slacks without this certain type of bead, blah, blah, blah. It's the greatest thing of all time. And I'm like, awesome. Do you have it in the slacks you're wearing right now? And he's like, well, not in this pair. And I'm like, I don't need it. Because he wasn't sold. So you've got to put the odds in your favor. You've got to do whatever you would do, and you would say, okay, it would be unreasonable not to be successful if I did these things. Go do those things. If you're in sales, if I look like the type of person that people are expecting to see when I knock on their door selling this service, it'll raise my odds. Well, people shouldn't judge me. Well, guess what? That's tough. That's how our society is. Guess what? When I was a personal trainer, I had to look good all the time. I had to go to the gym looking like I was a personal trainer. I wasn't wearing jeans and tennis shoes in there and a hoodie. I was wearing gym clothes. I made sure that I was in shape. I made sure that I was lean. I made sure that I was vascular, meaning you could see my veins. I made sure that I had six-pack abs. Well, what does that have to do with anything? Guess what? If someone's going to get a personal trainer and there's three of us there and one of us is in great shape and the other two are just kind of so-so, if we all have great personalities and the same prices, who are you going with? The guy that has more results. So I would make sure that I stayed in shape for that. Guess what? When I was a tumbling coach, I would go train at the gym all the time. I got private lessons from people. Like I would have people pay me for private lessons. Guess what? They saw me training all the time. I would go through classes not because I needed to learn basics, but because I wanted to work on stuff. I wanted to see people working. I wanted to have people see me working on the mat so they knew that I was good at what I did. All this different stuff. If I go sell roofing, I have a buddy that I sell some roofing and construction for temporarily just because ultimately the goal is $10K a month profit take home working 10 hours a week. So I won't be doing that pretty soon because the hour per dollar trade just usually is not there. The hourly wage that I'm going to have to make to do 40 hours a month, 10K take home is going to be, I think, $250 an hour, profit. That's the margin that I'm going to have to make off my team and everything else. But when I go to sell roofing, I don't do it wearing, cap-toe dress shoes, a pair of slacks, and a button down with the sleeves rolled. I go looking like a person that you would buy construction work from. I go looking like a guy that knows what he is talking about when it comes to roofing. Guess what? I did roofing for years and years and years. I've done in-home remodels. I've done flooring. I've done demos. I've done, flipping prop. I've done all that stuff. So I go dressed like that person. And I even have to kill the elephant in the room when I show up not in a, beat up truck because they're like, oh, I figured you'd be in a truck. And I'm like, yeah, this is my car because I drive all over God's green earth, which is true. I drive the thing everywhere. You have to put all the odds in your favor. So I just want you to take this and apply it. If you are someone who is in sales, which is everybody, again, you need to dress the part. If you own a lawn care company, get shirts made with your lawn care name and logo on them. Dress the part. Have good-looking, clean equipment. Well, I can't afford nice equipment. Guess what? Have it looking good at least. When you go to bid someone's job, either have it dirty because you just came from a job or have the stuff clean. Have it organized. Don't have crap just all over the place in your trailer just thrown together. You're going to look like what one of my friends calls chuck in a truck, meaning anyone can grab a truck and a trailer and buy a cheap lawnmower. Look professional. I got a buddy that does $40,000 a month in lawn care, and he's looking to do over $1 million a month. $1 million a year, 7 figures a year, which is an average of $83,000 a month. He's looking to do that in the next couple of years. Guess what? He's got great looking trucks. He's got great looking trailers. They've been vinyl wrapped. They're all the same color. He's got shirts with name tags. He's got hats. The dude looks professional. When he shows up to give someone a bid, guess what they're thinking? Oh, this guy's not in a wife beater with scraggly hair. His hair looks good. His hat looks good. He's a clean shaven guy. He looks professional. He fits the bill. He's certain about what he has to offer. If you're in sales of any kind where you're going into people's houses, guess what? You're going to be in close quarters. Same thing with anything else. Your breath needs to smell good. Your teeth need to look good. Your hair needs to look good. Well, what if I'm an XYZ and people have long hair in that industry? Do whatever you want, but you need to look like what fits the bill for that thing. You have to do what is unreasonable to make you not succeed. Like, if I did all these things, it would be unreasonable to not be successful. If I worked this many hours, if I got up this early and worked this late, if I did these things, if I read these books, if I got around these people, if I had this many sales calls, I literally, just to prove that putting all the odds in your favor works, here's a story for you, and I'm closing out. So I made that course. I started offering free trials. I started offering finder's fees to people who are referring clients to us, because I want to make sure that, hey, if you're referring people to us, I want to have you keep doing that. So I'm going to give you money. If someone closes that you referred, then here you go. Here's $250 or $300 or $400. Right now it's $250. That'll probably change in the future. But so like, I'm doing everything I can to put the odds in our favor. And then one of our clients had something come up the other day, and he's like, hey, look, we're going to do paper close, blah, blah, blah. I sent him over the contract. And then I'm like, you know what? I noticed today, I hopped in the CRM. I'm like, the leads are not getting handled like they should. Now, I don't do lead handling. I used to. I worked inside of an office for years, and I did all lead handling. From the time they submitted their information on the Facebook form or the lead page, the sales funnel, whatever, I did everything. Calls, text, appointment scheduling, payment collection up front to reserve their spot in the calendar, all this different stuff. I did the sales consultation. I did the program recommendation that the doctor gave. I did all this stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I've done that before. If we're going to do pay per close, these leads have to be followed up on this cadence, this amount of times per week, AM and PM, text, calls, voicemails, all this stuff. If that's not going to happen, then we're not going to be able to work together as a client-agency relationship. So here's the deal. How about I handle the leads specifically for this account because of the arrangement that we've made per the contract, and I'll charge you this much a month. I sent him a text, and he's like, you know what? I think that'll work. Like, boom, there's another almost $500 a month in revenue off of one client, just because I'm willing to put all the odds in my favor, because I want to make sure that I have a nice payday at the end of this contract, which means that I have to handle all the leads for, like, I'll do whatever it takes. Put all the odds in your favor. If you've got a goal, figure out, okay, not what do I want to do, not what would be easy, not what's the bare minimum, what is absolutely required. Like, you don't walk up to a person on a lot who's selling you a $50,000 or $100,000 car and be like, you know what, could you guys take $5,000 off? Like, you don't do that. That's the price. You go pay the price. So I sent him that text, and he's like, yeah, we can do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to handle leads. I'm great at it. I've done it a ton. I don't want to do it. But guess what? I'm going to put all the odds in my favor to make sure that I keep this client. And when I get a team member that can do that, then I'll hand it to them. Last story. I hopped on a sales call with a guy. We were supposed to do a 2-week free trial. I'm just, again, looking to beef up case studies. I want to get as much social proof, meaning other people seeing that we've done this for someone else. It's easier for your clients and customers to sell your future clients and customers than it is for you to. If they can see that you've done this before for someone else that has a real face, a real name, a real business, and they made real revenue from your services, that's way better. Way, way, way better. So here's what I did. I hopped on a call with this guy. He didn't sign the contract. Hopped on another call, didn't sign the contract. Finally, I texted the team member that I was dealing with, and I'm like, hey, can you make sure that the doctor signs this contract? He's an awesome guy. He seems like he's going to be fun to work with. He really does, but he's scatterbrained. He had a ton going on, runs multiple locations. I get it. So I had him sign the contract, and then he's like, hey, when is that payment going to hit my account? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, when's that going to hit my card? I'm like, what? All you did was sign the contract. Like, I haven't sent you to the payment page yet. Like, we're not going to do that for 2 weeks. Well, guess what? He accidentally signed. He accidentally paid, and he's like, hey, look at that. Like, oh, I can get XYZ dollars off if I pay for 2 months in advance, which is another thing we're doing to front load cash on, new clients that are coming into this special offer. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'll go with that. So he accidentally paid me. Okay. It was a couple bucks shy of $2,400. Accidentally paid me. Like, did not mean to. And I'm a principle based business guy. So I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm like, we can do one of two things. Number one, I can go into Stripe right now and I can hit the refund button, and I will give you all your money back. It'll be there in 3 to 5 business days. No harm, no foul. And you will pay when the 2-week free trial is over. Or number two, we can just tack on these 2 weeks to the next 2 months, and I will invoice you again in 10 weeks. What would you like to do? He's like, you know what? You can just keep it. We're all in. Like, again, putting all the odds in your favor. I was going to do the right thing. I was willing to do the right thing. And I'm not trying to like, hey, look at me, but like, I hopped on enough sales calls with enough people that someone took the offer of paying 2 months in full, $2,400. Like, I live on a lean budget that pays for all of our living expenses and then some for a month off of one client, off of an accident, just because I was willing to hop on another call, send the contract again, bug the guy. Hey, doc, thinking about this. Are you still thinking about working with us? Have you found someone yet? Hey, had a quick question. If we could do this for you, would that make a difference? Over and over and over and over and over again. I hopped on a call with a doctor the other day. Hair was done nice, clean shaven, nice, like, just made sure that I looked professional. And he made a joke about like, hey, thanks for combing your hair today. Like, just little stuff. And yeah, he was just goofing around. But guess what? I looked professional. My background looked professional on the call. My audio was professional. It wasn't all choppy and crappy sounding like I had good energy. Just all this little stuff. Put all the odds in your favor. Decide now. There are certain things. Go make a list. Here's your action. I would challenge you to do this, and then we're done. Go write down everything that it takes to be successful in your industry, and then ask yourself, what have I not done? Why have I not done it? And what am I willing to change right now to get whatever I want out of this, to put all the odds in my favor, to truly make it, because I'm not willing to negotiate the price for success. I will do whatever it takes to put all the odds in my favor, to make it, to be successful. I don't care that people make snap judgments. It's not my fault. It's just reality. Go put all the odds in your favor. Make that list. Start checking it off. Stop negotiating the price for success and do whatever it takes. I'll talk to you guys in episode number 68.